Yes, yes, keep it going, keep it going, keep going. How you going? You go to a convention and it's just like,
It's real. You're real. It's a treat. It's a treat. This is my favorite part of the job, when we get to actually come and see the impact and connect with you guys. It's amazing.
Yeah, because we have no audience on set, we just make it and then hope that it'll connect with somebody, and this is the opportunity where we get to feel that connection. It's really cool.
absolutely. Oh, sorry, a little bit of feedback there. It's all good. Absolutely. And have you had any really kind of fun one-on-ones or fun meet and greets this weekend that just made you laugh, made you smile, or a really nice moment?
I think all of them. I mean, it's just, for me, it's always it's just so powerful hearing that, Sarah Lance has had a positive impact on someone's life, made them get through a hard time. I feel like I've talked to a lot of people who said that the show's really helped them get through a hard time, and to know that it's so cool to be able to be there for someone when they need you, so that's pretty touching.
I think we saw the power of actors and creators during, the time that shall not be named, when you all were our outlet. You were our friends, and I feel like, who you connected with these amazing performers during that time, yeah, and they really were
Yeah, man. You mean COVID that time?
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah. Oh, yes, I did.
Say it.
Oh, no. And it is really amazing how we can create, really strong connections, and it's so wonderful that people can come and meet you face to face, which is awesome. Now, just being part of the Arrowverse, it's such a big it's a big thing, right? You're part of this amazing fandom. I want to know, what's your favourite thing about being part of that universe?
There's so much, there's such a long history with these characters in the comics, and there's generations upon generations of people who have lived with this universe and in this universe. So I think being part of history in that sense is a really neat thing.
I think my favorite part was Sarah's sexuality, and having that, being able to portray that on TV like 10 years ago, whatever it was, and there wasn't that enough representation for that kind of stuff, and to be able to play that and have that and be that was probably the coolest thing.
It's fantastic. Was there a lot of pressure on you when you kind of entered this world, and do you feel like the fans embraced you straight away, or did you need to prove yourself to them a little bit?
There's always like a little bit of proving. I think for me, there was like, Sarah Lance is not it's Dina Lance, it's, Laurel Lance is the Black Canary. You're not the Black Canary. But yeah, and then you're like, watch out, watch out, watch out. And they're like, okay, you can be Black Canary. That was cool. We like that. So I was like, yeah, in.
Yeah, I also had a hard time in the beginning. I think because people thought I was replacing Cassidy, and that she wouldn't come back. And there were people who were really pissed about it, understandably. So it was a tough introduction. But again, like, once we got going a little bit, and I think Dinah's character became clear, she wasn't a replacement, she was very much her own character, then, people warmed up, and it was less scary. Description of what it feels like.
Yeah, and then you're like, you guys, like, people came to our set, they're like, you have couches? You have couches you get to... And then we went to Supergirl, and I'm like, you have a whole room? Like a Lego room? They had a Lego room where they just got to build Legos.
Is that like meant to be for meditation or something? Or?
Yeah, and they had a meditation space. I was like, what? I thought we were cool because we had a couch. You guys have a whole room with a meditation studio and a Lego building area.
Yeah, I was always curious what everybody else's snacks were, because everyone had a different craft department. You guys had great pasta.
Oh yeah, we did. We did have good pasta.
Yeah. Who has the best catering?
I liked yours.
Our catering was really good, yeah.
Just wanted to know, That's so amazing. And you're traveling together at the moment, and you've recently been married, which is exciting, and you're here on your honeymoon. So amazing.
You.
You're all on Caity's honeymoon right now.
Yeah, thanks for coming to my honeymoon, you guys.
And Juliana, you're definitely on Caity's honeymoon.
Oh, I'm definitely. Last night at dinner, I was just staring at her and her husband, like, fully on their honeymoon.
They were giving us marital advice, actually. It was really good.
It was
got some
great.
deep talks. It was good.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Because you're here with your husband as well, that's right?
I am.
Been married since 2018, if my research...
2021 we got married.
Oh, no.
But I've known him since I was 17, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's so beautiful. So you've got lots of advice to share. Can you give us all marriage advice? Come on the
There's
spot.
There's so much. I think the best marriage advice I can think of right now is to remember when you're arguing with your partner, because it's inevitably going to happen and it's healthy to have disagreements, to remember that you're still on the same team. And this is something that my husband has taught me and he practices, and it's been a game changer, because it's so easy to get triggered and to feel like you're on one side of the fence and they're on the other, but it's actually never you and your partner against each other, it's you and your partner against the issue. And that has completely changed the game in our relationship.
Oh my God. Round of applause for that. That's amazing. This was just impromptu. I just thought I was...
My husband's a life coach, so it's...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Now, I know that you are, here, of course, on a gorgeous Arrowverse panel, but I know that you're both so multi-talented and have played many different characters and many different roles. I was wanting to know which of your other roles outside of the Arrowverse are you most proud of, and something that you want to kind of remember?
I think my favorite movie that I did was called The Machine, and I just liked it because I got to play a robot. I was an android and I walked around like but like better. I think I did a little better. And I got to dance and I got to fight and like just do a lot of stuff, and we shot in Wales, so that was really cool. That was my favorite movie I think I did.
You looked so amazing in that. I've only seen photos. It was so cool.
Wait, we'll sit down and we'll watch it together.
Oh, I would
I'll be like, Juliana, that's me.
That's
me.
There I am again.
Like, are you watching? Look, do you want me to rewind? Look what I did.
I would love that. That's a great movie night idea. I think mine was, I did a very, it was an independent horror film called Last Shift, and I shot it for 10 days. We did an entire feature in 10 days. It was nuts. And I was in...
That is very fast.
Oh yes, that's very fast. And I was in almost every scene, and I was broken. And it was so great. It's like those moments you live for as an artist where you just want to be ripped apart from the inside out. And I was really proud of how it turned out, and it's very scary, and I love the character.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. I always love to know, and it's often these indie films or smaller pieces that people are just so connected to. I love that. Thank you for sharing. All right, it's your turn to ask questions.
And I'm like, did you know that was my first acting job ever that we did together? And he's like, yeah. And then I see him again. I'm like, John, did you know that was my first? And he's like, that it was your first acting job? Caity, I know. You've told me every time you see me. That's the last that I saw him. Was literally leaving a party, and he was like, you've told me that story every time you see me. And I'm like, oh, bye, John Hill. And I died inside. I was like, I was so embarrassed. But literally every time, he was like, okay, enough.
Like over 3 times he's heard this story?
Oh, at least 4. And over years, too. Like,
plan your next John Hamm encounter now.
I know, but how do you, like, what do you do? Like, I have to be cool, and I feel like saying the story. I can't be like, hey, like, like before I used to always tell you this story about how, and I can't tell that again. So I have to just be like, hey, John, no big deal. Like, how do I fix that? I can't fix it.
You just have to tell the story differently, like, I've done a few more acting jobs since the last time I saw you, John.
I feel like it's a bit now, and every time you see him, you do have to tell him.
Yeah, like, well, that's like a big swing where you're like, okay, now I'm gonna make it funny because I'll be
Yeah.
aware of it. And then you go up and you do it, and he doesn't realize, and then you're like, no, I'm kidding. I know I already told you. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, bye.
But
That's
then
what
you get
I'm-
an Oscar and you're like, John Hamm is
Oh,
here.
now John Hansen. Yeah, he's
I'd like to
interested.
thank you for my first acting gig.
I don't know if you know this story, John,
As you're accepting your Oscar.
but that was my first acting job.
All right, we've got a question where? There-ish. There.
So this one's for Caity. Just wondering what your favourite Sarah Lance quote saying one-liner is.
I don't know if I have like a favorite. But I guess one that I was writing today, and then like I think there's like was you can't fight what you can't see, and I think that the like deeper thing behind it is like you have to be aware of your faults and like not be like willfully blind. You have to like see the problem so that you can fix it. So I liked that one.
It's more great marriage advice right there.
Yeah.
We're all your husband life coaches. Another question here.
Hi, I'm just wondering, did you get to keep your puppet since Legends end up finishing?
No! And everyone got their puppet. Yeah, literally everyone got their puppets, and we didn't know that we were gonna finish, and so they didn't give us our puppets. But I would have thought like, I'm still waiting for it to come in the mail. Maybe it'll still come. But also like, what am I gonna do with that puppet? That seems like a thing that sits in your closet forever, and then one day you're like, maybe I should get rid of this. Yeah, or maybe I could start a YouTube channel and I could explain things with my puppet. We have a cooking show together.
Oh my God, yes.
Cooking with Puppet and Caity.
I'm wondering
And I'll have a bad accent when I do it, yes.
how do you flip a pancake when you've got a puppet on your head?
My puppet will do it. I don't know how yet. We'll work out the logistics, okay? Just
love
give
it.
us a sec.
I love it though.
Juliana will be underneath, and she's gonna be like,
Yeah, I'll flip the pancake.
Another question up the front here.
Hi, so my name's Zach. I was just wondering who the most famous person you got to work with on the set, and yeah, what it meant to you as an actor.
On the Arrowverse shows or any show? On any show, probably Morgan Freeman. I just stared at him in awe as we worked. He's like, God, such a presence, such an incredible actor.
I actually have a Morgan Freeman story.
What?
I was in the British Virgin Islands, which is like small islands, and at a restaurant. I was with my parents, and Morgan Freeman was at this restaurant. And I danced with him. I slow danced with Morgan Freeman.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we were like slow dancing, and there's like the moon, and I'm like, you're Morgan Freeman.
It sounds like a dream.
Yeah, but it was real life. I think I guess John Hamm, Mad Men, and then like every time I've seen John Hamm over the years since, I tell him the same story because I get so nervous, and I'm like, John, hi John, like you remember me? Like I was, and he's like, yes, Caity, I remember you.
She was, I mean, literally and figuratively, and I had heard about you for so long before I met, and I was so new on the show, and I was so nervous before we shot that scene, and it just really sticks out in my mind as a big one for that character.
That's fantastic. A question up the back here.
Hi, I'm just wondering for Kay.
Get nice and close to your microphone, mate.
Sorry.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just wondering for Kay, who would you like to work with in the future for like actresses and actors and that type of thing?
Fun, Melissa McCarthy. Oh, and Florence Pugh. I just feel like she's so hot. I like her.
She is incredible.
Yeah.
Her voice is so powerful. I just started getting into her too. Meryl Streep for me,
Oh yeah.
and Kevin Costner as well.
He seems really nice.
Yeah, he does seem really down to earth cowboy. Yeah.
So nice, I love that. Question over here.
Hi, Katie. I have a question for you regarding Legends of Tomorrow. If season 8 was occurring, what would you have liked to see, and how would you envision the Legends of Tomorrow actually getting out of time jail?
If there was a season 8, is that what we said? Yeah. Oh gosh, what would I have liked to see? I would have liked to see us get out of jail and get back on the Wave Rider, or I liked it when it became like a workplace comedy, you know, and it was more mundane stories, like less about some arch supervillain and more like who's, you know, using the bathroom first, and like the little stories I thought were really, really cool. Would have been interesting to see what happens to Ava and Sarah with a baby, and like what would that baby look like?
So cute.
But like, is it a human baby? You know, because you can't have a baby on set. Like, it's not going to be a baby. They're going to have to like time jump and probably make that baby older. Maybe that baby could have like been way, like, so maybe they travel back in time and the baby travels back and it's Victor Garber. I'll be like, Victor Garber, and he's like, Mom. And I'm like, Mommy? What, baby?
It's a great idea, I love that. We've got a question over here.
You got it.
She just wants to know how would you thought of the Legends would have ended if you got the last season, and even the Canaries show, we never really got much of that either.
Yeah, the Canaries show would have been cool.
Would have been so fun.
We were actually talking about that in our meet and greet, and we were saying they should have done Birds of Prey. Not Green Arrow and the Canaries, it should have been Birds of Prey. Still room for that show.
I'm so in. It was so fun.
And yeah, I guess that with Legends, it would be, just more fun Legends antics. That's why I like the way that it kind of just became this like kind of Seinfeld type thing, you know? It's just you can just keep going and going rather than having to have like this. And then we find out that your son from out of wedlock is here and you have a twin brother. So yeah, that.
Awesome. All right, question in the middle here.
Hi, this question's for Katie. How did you feel when you were portraying like an LGBTQ plus character, especially in like the last season? Because like Legends of Tomorrow in the last season, for me, it was like the strongest season.
I liked that in the end, I feel like Sarah and Ava had a really healthy relationship, which was cool and kind of hard to do because like most storytelling is conflict. You need conflict, you know? And somehow we were able to like keep their couple interesting and fresh without having them break up all the time, you know? So that, I think that was really cool and nice to just have, I don't know, we always need more examples of like marriages that work and where people are happy and love each other. So I thought that was cool that Sarah and Ava had such a healthy relationship.
Absolutely, yeah. More couples on TV shows where they just like each other.
Yeah, because it's like everyone, we know how to like fight and have a bad relationship. We need examples of good ones.
100%, yeah. Question down the front here.
Hey, my name's Chris. I just wanted to ask what you thought on your respective shows was the most, like, the biggest or the most impactful, like, death, or person leaving the show, not necessarily death, but...
Obviously, Sarah Lance. No.
And Oliver Queen.
Yeah, that was probably I mean, it was like the end of, that was a big one. I was trying to think of what was the biggest, like, character leaving on Legends that changed it. Right. Victor Garber? Yeah. Because, like, Wentworth leaving was big, but he left early, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Willa left a bit early, but then it all got worked back in. I feel like we were always all there, and like people kept dying and coming back and leaving and coming back. Yeah.
Alrighty, we've got a question right in the middle here.
Hi, this question's for Juliana and Caity. When you've got time off from shooting projects, what are your favourite things to do?
Hobbies.
Baking, playing with my doggies, hiking and hanging out and playing music with my husband, and having lovely dinners with this one and her husband, and just, yeah, like working on my land and planting flowers and stuff, and
Normal human things.
Normal human
Great things. I really like traveling and seeing the world. Mario Kart.
Yes.
And I love crafting too, so I really like doing crafting, and I really like interior design. So like trying to make my house prettier.
So what are you crafting at the moment?
Well, in COVID, I went deep. I was doing hand clay, like making vases, not spinning, but like hand doing ones. Macrame. I made a macrame lamp that was really cool.
Yes.
At least I thought it was. And paper flowers, which is one of my absolute favorites, but it's the most time-consuming thing. But then you have these flowers, and they look super real, that are forever. And there's this woman, it's called the Green Vase, that and she was like teaching you how to like make these flowers, paper flowers. I'll show you pictures of
Yeah, I would. I'm a big crafter too, and I think we might have a few crafters in the audience.
I'm telling you, these paper flowers, they're like there's some other brand that you can get that's really popular, like Leah Griffith or something, but they don't look as real. Like you have to like hand dye your own tissue paper and stuff.
Oh, I love this. This is a good insight. I mean, you've got some beautiful flowers on here. We'll hook you as well. We've got a question back here.
Hi Caity, hi Juliana. I guess who was perhaps the funnest co-star you worked with on both of your shows? And I realise that's probably a difficult one to answer.
Beside each other, because they're just going to say each other.
Definitely not Juliana. I have a lot of fun with Franz. The other half of Firestorm. Him and I would really like. He was just a troublemaker, and he'd pull me into some trouble that I needed. We'd have fun. Yeah, he was fun.
Trouble that you needed.
Yeah, everybody needs to get in some trouble here and there.
I think Stephen was really fun. And for as serious as he was also really funny. Emily was hilarious and kept things really light.
And Colton. And
Colton,
he's just
my
a
God.
joy. He's just pure joy. Colton.
He is.
He's like a sweetheart.
Yeah, truly, yeah. Yeah, we laughed a lot.
I feel like he's like a male Marilyn Monroe. Like just this like, you're adorable and like so sexy and like.
Yes, he's the full package.
We've got a question over this way.
Hi, thank you for coming out. My question was, Stephen Amell and Caity Cassidy recently both came out at another con, Supernova, a couple months ago. Have you guys had a chance to reminisce with them, like clashing on the tour? Now that you guys are coming out, have you catched up with them since the shows are finished? And is there any like updated stories or any cool events that might have happened with them recently?
I definitely text Caity because I was like, where did you go? Where should I go? And she never texted me back. So,
everybody tag Caity in this video.
I'm checking, making sure I
Let's do it right now. Let's make a video for her right now.
Wait, I should, okay, well, even if she did text me back, it would have taken so long that I felt like she didn't. So,
come on.
Well, okay, I'm gonna do a video. I need you guys, everyone to say, Caity, text Caity back. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Caity, text Caity back!
Thank you.
Amazing.
That's the best I've ever seen. It's fantastic.
Nothing passive about it.
Yeah, that's
just aggressive.
Straight to the point.
Straight ag there for you. Another question. Trying to find the volleys is like playing Where's Wally, because there's a lot of people in green. In the middle here.
Yeah, I've got a question for both Caity and Juliana. Just wanted to know what was involved in the audition process for your roles on Arrow, and was there much competition?
What was yours?
Mine, I was one of the last people they saw for Dinah, and it was like, when I booked the role, I basically was in Vancouver like 2 days later. It was at the very last minute. And sometimes when auditions, I think when roles are meant for you, it just flows. Like it just feels very easy. And my auditions for Arrow felt very easy, and I felt like I was meant to play her. And I didn't know who I was playing, so when I came back for the callback and there were like 10, 15 people in the room, that was a little like, oh. Yeah, it just flowed. They were really fun auditions, and I didn't really pay attention to anybody else in the room because I felt confident, and that doesn't always happen.
Mine, I auditioned, and then they were like, no, you're not gonna get the part. You are not CW enough. This is no. And then 2 weeks later, I got a call, and they're like, come in and do a not CW enough for? And they're like, yeah, that one. I was like, okay. And then I went, and I met Steven in the parking lot when we were walking in, and I was like, yeah, you're the guy. And he's like, yeah, I saw you on Mad Men. And I was like, oh, you're a big fan, huh? Well, nice to meet you. And then, yeah, it took a while. I didn't see anybody else. I don't know how many. I don't think they read. I think the network didn't want me, but the producers wanted me. And Steven, I think, was an advocate as well. So I think they were trying to like convince the studio that I would do the part well. One thing.
I wonder that often as well.
But I don't think we can. I think they would like sue us and be like, you don't own these characters.
Yeah. Your character or someone else's on your shows?
Really good question.
Yeah, that's a great question. I loved the direction Dinah was going when we did the pilot for the spin-off, and seeing that side of her.
It was always just weird, like the love interests that they would create for you, like in the early days, like when Steve and I were working together, and we're like, okay, yes, like they're totally platonic, blah blah blah, and then we get a script, and it's like, wait, what? Now we're like kissing? Like this is what? No, this is weird. And then like I get a script the next week, and I'm like, I'm making out with who? Sarah made out with a lot of people. So yeah, that was always just weird. Like relationships, we're like, oh, okay, didn't see that one.
Whose breath was the worst?
Breath?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody had bad breath. Actors usually, like, if you're gonna make out, you do a courtesy.
Or if you're trying to be funny, you eat tuna beforehand.
I have known actors to do that, like onions for lunch, and yeah.
I didn't. Well, no, I'm not even gonna tell a story.
What?
Come on.
Well, like that, you're not supposed to actually make out. Like a TV make out, it's like no tongue. Right. Nobody told me that. How was I supposed to know?
Lucky co-star.
So they were like, you don't have to do that.
Who did you find out with?
I don't tell it.
No, I want to know now.
No.
Just a very polite person's like, oh, did you not do that class?
Yeah, no one teaches you that. I don't know, how are you supposed to know that?
You're just thinking back on all the mistakes I've made.
There you go, everyone. Free acting lesson. Don't shove your tongue down someone's throat when they are not ready for it. Amazing. Next question.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I was wondering what the very first scene of yours from any of the Arrowverse, both of you, that pops into your head when you think about the Arrow or Legends of Tomorrow.
So if you didn't get that, what's the first scene from the Arrowverse that pops into your head when you think about it?
I remember the first times I wore the Black Canary costume, and it was in a warehouse, and I just remember like I'm fighting some guy and he calls me a B word, and I remember she was like, I really don't like that word, crack. And I remember that.
Yes. The first one that comes in my mind Probably the first time I did the Canary Cry. It was just like those first moments where it was so memorable, and you know, because you end up doing many of them over the course of the seasons, but like you always remember that first one, and I always remember the last. That episode was just so exciting. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And what a great question to end on, because that's all the time we have for you both today. Please put your hands together for our incredible guests.
Love you
It's
guys.
been
Thank you so much.
Caity, Juliana, thank you for joining us today here on the Flash Theatre stage. And if anyone wants to see your booth this afternoon, is that correct?
We'll be signing autographs. Come say
Amazing.
hi. Yeah.
I'm just gonna text Caity that video.
Yeah,
first,
good.
and then I'll-
Fantastic. All right, give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much for joining us. And coming up on the stage next is our amazing cosplay parade, and then we've got